Good morning, you guys. It's day number 93 of my StaybatticalTo50 100-day journey. 1 week away now from being over, change my body, my mind, watch what happens. Hope you guys are having a great week. I feel so out of sorts this week because last week I ended all of my regular work with podcasting and all the things that I do. So this week, I haven't known what day it is. I have no idea what day it is. I think it's Thursday today, but I've been so head down in writing my next book that I am so off. My sleep schedule is so weird right now because I have decided that if I'm tired, I'm going to go to sleep no matter what time of day it is, and then wake up no matter what time of day it is and start writing on the book some more. So currently, I have been going to bed at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, waking up at like 6:30, hitting the book again, staying up for a few hours, going back to bed for a few hours, and then getting up. I've been up since 2 a.m. today, typing away on my book. And I am committed to getting that bad boy done. And it will. I have until December 31st. I'm completely off from all my work. The only thing I have an obligation to is you guys doing this walk and talk every day for this last little bit of the Staybatical. So yes, if you just came in, day 93 today. And we're rolling along, you guys. Still on this. Excited about concluding this next week. And moving on to finishing up the book that I'm working on. So let's talk about something today that I think is pretty important. Because I have a sense that a lot of people live their lives in a constant sense of desperation. Things that they want to see happen in their life. They push the envelope. They do all the things to make that thing happen as quickly as possible. Any of us done that? I know I've done that. I've done that many times in life where there is this sense of, hey, if I don't go after this thing now, it may not be there. And this applies in so many ways, you guys. This isn't just about any one area. Let's focus on health because that's kind of what this journey is about for me right now with the Staybatical. People get so desperate that they're willing to do like really crazy things to try to lose weight, for example. They cut their calories out or really way low. They try supplements that are supposedly fat burners. They push themselves through movement to an extreme level. All of those are signs of someone experiencing desperation, direly wanting something so bad that they push themselves to the nth degree. And it also applies in other areas. Think about a love relationship. If you have someone you want to be in your life and you feel like you're going to lose them, you do lots of things, stupid things. Lots of people do stupid things to try to keep that relationship going. You could go down the list of all the ways that people show signs of desperation. And when you're desperate, you're flailing. You're not quite yourself. You're not really thinking rationally. And you're not allowing things to just happen as they were intended to happen. And that never ends well. Doesn't end well at all. Good morning. Hi, girls. So, are you someone who lives your life on the edge of desperation about everything in your life? Or are you someone who trusts that destiny is going to make what needs to happen. I think sometimes we get just a taste of what something is like, and we try to push the envelope. we don't let things develop the way they need to develop. We try to jump the gun on all the things that we think need to happen so we don't lose that thing that we want. And it makes us desperate. It makes us so crave having that thing that we think we want. And we need to have it right now. I think back through my life, all these things in my life that I used to dream about. If I only had this, I would be happy. And whatever this was, at the time seemed like it was the secret to what I wanted. And it forced me into thinking that if I did not get that, whatever that thing it was, that I would not be happy and that nothing else could fill that void. And what has inevitably happened in my life is when I've tried to push the issue, it just pushes that thing further away. But when I let things just happen and progress over time, it's not a sense of desperation. It's actually something that's going to develop. And in the proper time, that develops into something even better than I imagined before. So maybe you have things in your life right now that you're trying to jump at, and jump at real quick. Now, let me be clear. If there are opportunities, thank you, Del Norte, bought a badge. You want to buy a badge watching live? Hit the little badge thing down there. What I think is we have to learn to be patient with the things in life. And it's okay to look at opportunities and try to make the most of those opportunities. That's not what I'm talking about. That is something good. You should pursue opportunities. What I'm talking about is when you see a little taste of something that you want, and then you start to obsess about it, and it consumes every part of you, and you take possession of it even before it's yours. And so the desperation kicks in hard at that point. Oh my gosh, I've got to pursue this. I've got to push for it. I've got to do whatever it takes to make this a full reality. And sometimes it's at that moment you got to back off. You got to let things unfold in the proper timing. It's so tempting, I know, to want to go and get those things in that very moment that you feel like you need to jump. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I don't think we need to be timid about things that we want. We should definitely put ourselves out there and go after them. But what I do think is you've got to be measured about it. You have to have a path in your mind as to why you're pursuing something like that. It's not going to be something that you're so desperate, you've got to go after it, that you do stupid stuff. If you're measured about it in the progression towards it, that's great. That's what you should be doing. That's the whole point. So don't live in desperation, but rather destiny. Because look, if something is meant to be, I am of the full opinion that if something's meant to be, it's going to be. And the sooner you realize that you're trying to push yourself into something that may not be right, and then you're causing yourself agony, and you're doing herky-jerky, desperate things to try to make that thing happen that probably doesn't need to happen, you're going to be glad that you were patient. I'll give you an example of this. A few years ago, I won't say any of the names, going to protect the innocent here, but a few years ago in the keto space, there was a medical doctor who was promoting a clinic idea for helping people with type 2 diabetes. And the idea was to have these clinics where people with type 2 diabetes that are frustrated with the mainstream medical care could go to them and get nutrition and lifestyle advice to help reverse their type 2 diabetes. It was a great idea on paper. And they wanted to try to franchise them all over the United States and around the world. And they were looking for investors. And at the time they came to me and they said, "Hey Jimmy, would you like to invest in one of these clinics? We would love to have your support." So I start looking at the proposal, the portfolio, and just trying to check it out, do my due diligence. And I concluded that it was a great idea, but their plan for executing the idea was not great. And I could have very easily said, "You know what? I'm about this topic. I want type 2 diabetics to have their disease reversed. I want them to know that there are ways to do it that go beyond what the mainstream medical system is telling them," and then jump at the opportunity. But I didn't. And let me tell you what happened. The guy that was helping the doctor out with this idea ran off with the money and left all of those investors holding the receipts, basically. They lost their money. And I remember the doctor coming to me and saying, "Wow, how did you know? How did you know not to invest?" And I said, I wasn't desperate. I wanted to see a little more proof of concept. I wanted to let things unfold a little bit to see where it goes. And my gut instincts were right. I would have dropped a considerable amount of money. In fact, the original proposal from the guy that ended up stealing everything, he's like, "Well, you could be an investor and we'll give you X number of shares in our company in exchange for your entire business, Jimmy." Say what? He wanted to own Livin' La Vida Low Carb. He wanted all the book royalties. He wanted all the podcast sponsorships. And he was going to give me shares in his company. I told him where he could go fuck himself. And I told the doctor that too. I was like, "Can you believe that?" "Oh, well, he's just trying to build the company and like, not by taking mine. Not going to happen." So sometimes desperation can make you do stupid things. I think he was desperate to get as many assets as he could because he knew he was going to steal it all along. And that's what he did. That's what he did. I could not believe when he wanted everything. And I'm like, "You do realize I have to eat, I have to pay bills, and you want to own the entirety of my business and give me these monopoly money shares," because the shares of their company were zero at the time. I'm like, "How are you giving me shares of your company and then you're getting actual money from my company?" Yeah, that was messed up. But I trusted my instincts and I was right. I was right. But guys, it's day number 93 of my Staybattical to 50. The 100 days is almost over, you guys. Still rocking it, still rolling it. Let me tell you what's going to happen. So a week from today is day number 100. And so that will be the last day, but it'll be the beginning of the last day. I won't be finished yet. I'll be finished on Friday, next Friday. So next Friday, I will be doing a recap of how this 100-day experience was like, what it was like, and how it went, and all my thoughts. And And that will be the final thing that I do online until the new year. So thanks for hanging out. I've been trying to come out every day. I haven't taken a rest day. I'm trying to think when I took a rest day. Thanksgiving, 1 week ago. That was the last time I took a rest day. So I'm trying not to take any rest days. I may take one this Sunday because I just know my body that if I'm not careful, I will get exhausted. And I'll have to take at least a rest day or two. So I might take off Sunday, but that's the only other rest day I have left in this entire experience. But hey, if I wake up on Sunday morning and feel good, I'll get out here. But what do you think about this topic? Do you live life in desperation? Are you one of those people who feels like you have to jump and you have to like force the issue? I think a lot of people do. They go through their lives thinking they have to force things. And the honest truth is, if you just let things play out, destiny takes its course. And look, if something that you want is out there and you don't press the issue and you're not desperate, but then it doesn't happen, that's not the end of the world either. You assume that it's something that you were meant to have, and it might not be. It might be that it's not your destiny. And you have to be okay with that as well. We have a lot of plans in our minds, don't we, of what we think our life should be. And as soon as we think we've got life figured out, life has a funny way of humbling us and bringing us back into line again and saying, oh, did you want that? No. That was never the intention. That was not intended for you. But I want it, but I would desire it. Okay, fair enough. But it's not for your best interest. And when you start allowing life to give you those lessons along the way and stop jumping at things as if they're going to be the secret to your happiness and to your thriving and all the things you want in your life, I have found that the things that I've found the most beneficial, the most fulfilling in my life are the things where I just let things happen. Yes, putting myself in good positions to make those things happen. They don't just happen on their own, but putting yourself in a good position so they can happen, so that when they do happen, you did your part. But never forcing the issue. Never pushing yourself so hard, so desperate to get a thing that may or may not be what's right for you. I think we all have examples in our lives where we have pushed for things and we got them, and then we realize what a big mistake that was. All of us have that experience, right? Good morning. And so, learning this lesson is so critical, guys. And I definitely think this is something that is universal for all of us to learn from. So, definitely interested in what you guys have to say. So, welcome in. I'm going to scroll back to the top, read your comments here. And there's a couple of dogs. Hang tight. Good morning, ladies. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Good morning, Linda. Go, Jimmy, go. Clock, book, calendar. Yes, I am on the clock to write my book by the end of December. Look, I've been working on it for months with Brittany. And now it's just crunch time of editing and formatting. We were working on the cover yesterday, the original cover that my web guy Hank produced. Both Brittany and I kind of went, no. And then we described what we wanted, and it's a lot closer. So, and this will be the first book we're hoping in a series. So it's One Step Deeper Journal, and we're calling this one The Foundations, because it will be the very first book, kind of foundational principles on mindset. And then we're going to do future books One Step Deeper journal for trauma. One Step Deeper journal for anxiety. On and on and on. Think chicken soup for the soul, except One Step Deeper journal. So we're excited to get that ball rolling. Bulletproof says you can't force people to be in your life when they refuse to be open. Look, I'm learning that lesson now, being in the dating scene. I can show all the interest in the world to a girl, but if she's not interested back, there's really nothing I can or should do about that other than move on. And it's so easy to get attached. But if they're not showing any interest in you, you got to move on. And the desperation is, I like this person and so I have to pursue them. No, screw that. If they're worth pursuing, you are also worth being pursued. And if you're both not pursuing each other, it ain't gonna work. I've learned that one real quick. And it's cool. It helps keep you sane in the midst of it all. Letting it go is often very much needed. Yes. Yes. Good morning, Cherish. Thanks for being here. She says, I believe God gives us signs of the path we should take. Yeah, for sure. You have to be willing to change your direction if you hit a dead end. You know what a lot of people do when they hit a dead end? They try to break through the wall of the dead end. No, this can't be it. I have put so much time and effort and energy and desperation into making this thing happen. What do you mean it's over? Had a lot of those moments in my life where you're longing for the more, and not Jimmy Moore, but M-O-R-E. And that's a tough one to swallow. Because you look back on all the energy that you put into it, and then the end result is nothing. Yeah, that's a source of frustration, isn't it? But it wasn't your destiny. And maybe you hit a dead end because you were desperate. Maybe, had you allowed things to unfold the way they needed to, you could have avoided that path that led to a dead end. And you would have ended up right where you needed to be. Bulletproof says, they wanted your entire business? That's a red flag right there. Yeah, no kidding. As soon as I was on the phone with the guy, it's like, so you're going to hand over all of your business and all of your money and all your everything to our company? And I'm like, yeah, the fuck I will. Because I immediately called the doctor friend who I respect in the keto world. I immediately called him and went, do you realize what he's asking? Oh, well, Jimmy, he's a business guy. That's what they do, and da-da-da. I'm like, he's not having my business. If he wants me to invest, that's one thing. But to say I have to hand over my entire company to him for the illusion of a bunch of shares of his company that doesn't really exist? Yeah. To say I was hot is an understatement. I don't get really worked up about stuff. But that one pissed me off really bad. That's been a while ago, so I'm over it now. Del Norte says, we are a need it now society. I would amend that and I would say we are a want it now society. I don't think we actually need a lot of the things we pursue. Want them, sure. And when you want something so bad, that's what makes you desperate. When you truly need something, then you're willing to wait on destiny to make it happen. Again, putting yourself in the position for it to happen, not just sitting back and, okay, it's just going to happen, but not pressing the issue. Things that you want make you desperate. Bulletproof says being desperate will fog your decision-making skills. Oh, yeah. We get tainted by things that are desires in the here and now. Very, very few people actually think ahead about decisions. They always think about the here and now, the temporariness of their decision, not the long-term effects of those decisions. And so desperation will make your decision making a lot harder, a lot murkier, which is why I try not to be desperate about anything regarding decisions in my life. I'm more one to kind of, all right, let's see this play out a little bit. In the meantime, I'll be positioning myself to be in a good place that if it's meant to happen, it will. But I'm not going to be so desperate that I feel like I have to jump at it. So many examples of this in my life, and I'm sure you have lots of examples in your life. Cherish says, I've been humbled many times over about this issue. Yes. Like, I get it. Human nature makes us this way. Human nature requires you to make decisions on the fly, determine what the best decisions are, and yes, sometimes being irrational in what you do in your life. Good morning. And so that irrationality is where that desperation comes in. When you feel like you're going to lose something that you think you want in your life, you will do anything to preserve it. You will do anything to make it come about. Even if it's exactly the wrong thing for you to do, you will push yourself until you get that thing or die trying. And then here's what inevitably happens. When it wasn't your destiny, and yet you jumped in desperation, you get the thing. Maybe you have a momentary feeling of, ooh, I got it. But at some point you realize, oh crap, this is not what I wanted at all. Why did I idealize it? And this is the problem. We idealize those things that we think we want. People, circumstances, jobs, you name it. We idealize those things. So when you put it up on a pedestal and you look at it through the best case scenario lens, that thing looks like it's should be yours. And everything that you do should be about going after it. And then when the reality sets in, even if you desperately get it and you go after it and you get it, reality sets in and you're like, oh crap, how did I not see that this thing I was desperate for had this, and this going on? Because you idealized it in your mind. And we do that. I don't know what makes the human brain do that, but we do that. We let ourselves believe a mirage. And that mirage is the idealized version of the people and the scenarios, the things we want in life. And that's what drives us to being desperate. Sometimes letting things play out a little more, letting things kind of progress, and watching what happens, you will vet that stuff out so you can avoid heartache and pain. And again, I have a million scenarios floating around in my head right now of this very thing. And it's so tempting. So in the moment when you're feeling that kind of thing, where you feel like you need to jump, take pause. Assess the situation, the person, the thing, the event, whatever it is. Take pause and ask yourself, is this real? Is this actually how it is? Or is this just my imagination of what it is? It's going to save you a lot of heartache, guys. And if it's something that's just an imagination of what it is, then that's where you take pause and you let things unfold. Too much of life is herky-jerky jumping. And we wonder why we're stressed all the time. We wonder why we're not fulfilled in life. We wonder why opportunities seem to come for everybody else, but never for us. Could it be that your propensity to jump is paralyzing you from going after those things that you really want and you need in your life? I think so. And it's a lesson we all need to learn sooner than later, which is why I'm talking about it here today on the Walk and Talk. Bulletproof says, I am a need it now personality, but I've learned to calm my mind. Yeah, look, I think it's human nature to want things and say you need them now. I get that. And especially if you kind of take into account people's history. So if somebody has been in a really bad relationship, for example, and they get out of that relationship and then they're trying to pursue a new one, there could be this sense of, hey, I'm just desperate to have a good relationship because they came out of a really bad one. Same with a job. If you're in a really bad job and it wasn't what you wanted and you got out of it and you're just so hungering for a great job that you'll do anything. I think we've all been there. Kira says, in my online dating experience, I have to push some issues like, are we just going to be friends or are you wanting more? Except I ask more R-rated because I can't have people wasting my time. Time is precious. Yes, I'm there with you. I'm pretty blunt in the girls I've been talking to in the dating world. Take it or leave it. Serves you well. And I'm at the point in my life where I don't have time for games either. So I feel you on that one. Hello, So and Arrow. Thank you for being here, Pauline. True friends don't need to be forced, says Bulletproof. You're right about that. I used to feel like I needed to be desperate and jump at friends because I had a lot of limiting thoughts about my worthiness as being a friend many years ago. I'm over it now. If you're my friend today, I've let you in and I gladly want you there. Wasn't always that way. I pretty much let people take advantage of me in a past life. And that could lead you to be so desperate just to have people in your life that you choose crappy people in your life. Not anymore. I have a lot less friends, but more fulfilled bonds with the people I do allow in my life. So if I'm somebody that talks to you offline, you're a friend. I've let you in. And I see your value, you see my value. It's the way it should be, right? You can't always get what you want. That should be a song. I can't always get what I want. What's that, the Rolling Stones? I gotta brush up on my classic rock. Jacqueline says, yes! Yes, yes. Cherish says, the universe may throw you a curveball to force you to slow down. Yeah. Look, I've seen that happen for me just over 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago. I was starting to feel the effects of working so much mentally, physically, and it led me down this path to get away for 6 months. And I went completely offline for 6 months. Well, the curveball was I was going to be doing all these physical things I'm doing now 2 years ago. And the curveball was when I went away, my life fell apart. And I had to deal with a lot of emotional, dealing with childhood trauma stuff, some life stuff. And that was a big curveball for me. In hindsight, I'm glad it happened though, because the man sharing wisdom with you today is that man because of that. And man, it sucked. That was a very difficult 2-year process to recovery, to be in who I am, living authentically in who I am. Not saying I was fake before, but I wasn't showing my whole self. Now I do. Now what you see is what you get. Lay it all on the line. Unapologetically, unabashedly. What you hear from me is how I live my life. Who I am on camera is exactly who I am in real life. No more pretending. No more being desperate. This is my destiny, and I'm living it out. Cherish says, great, thanks Bulletproof. Now that song is in my head. You can't always get what you want. Kira says, I touched the screen on my other device and it said comment reported. I don't know what I did. I'm sorry if I reported somebody's comment. Yes. I've accidentally done that before. I'm sitting there swiping through my feed and accidentally I swipe left and it's like has deleted a couple of comments. I'm like, no, don't delete a comment. They're gonna think I'm a jerk. Especially when it's like a love comment. Oh, you're the best ever. You inspire me. Swipe, delete. So I've done that, Kira. Bulletproof says, sometimes we don't get what we want because we are set to get something better. Exactly. Every time I have let myself be disappointed over not getting something, and then something better happens, I try to remember that lesson. Because we can fix our eyes on something, again, on the idealized version, the best version of something that we think we want. We never think about the worst version, by the way. If you let yourself think about the worst version of this thing you think you want, it would slow you down. It would make you take pause and go, do I really want that? Thinking through all the ramifications will serve you best. And it will keep you from getting desperate. And it will force you to wait on destiny and watch what happens. That has served me well in my life. We're going to be desperate for having Jimmy after 100 days. I'll be back. I need some time away to rejuvenate, but also to finish my book. So, you know I'll be back. So I expect to have a ton of people on the lives when I come back in January. Good morning, guys. By the way, if you've noticed that your Instagram's kind of gone wonky on you, there's a setting that you need to change. They defaulted everybody to this setting. So go on your main page on Instagram, hit the little 3 dots at the top, click on settings, then click on account, and then sensitive comments or something like that. Click on that, and it probably is on limited. They're throttling your content. So if you put it on allow, it will allow everything to get through. Have a good day, ladies. Lady sitting there waiting on me. I'm like, go. So fix that setting on your Instagram. They did that recently, and I've been noticing a lot of my followers telling me, I don't see your posts anymore. I'm like, you know me, I post every day. Multiple times a day. Go live almost every day. If you ain't seeing my content, you're being throttled. So unthrottle yourself. So if you just joined in, it's day number 93 of my StaybatticalTo50. We are just about done with this journey. It seemed so far away on September 1st. And now it's 1 week from today will be my final day. Oh, by the way, I got in the new Oura ring. So it's the ring I've been using to track my sleep primarily. But it also tracks activity. And the new version, the number 3 version, tracks constant heart rate. So it'll be interesting what my heart rate does while I'm out here on this walk. Constant body temperature to help predict to see if you're getting sick. Lots of little gizmos and gadgets. And so I don't really like the customer service of the company because my other ring died and they refused to do anything about it. So definitely not promoting them, but I also admire good technology, and it's pretty good technology. They just leave a lot to be desired with their customer service. So anyway, but let's get back to this topic. Don't live in desperation, but let destiny happen. I've noticed many people go from one relationship to another with no time in between. I think those people don't want to feel alone for even a day, but their rushing mentality won't end well, says Bulletproof. Yeah. And I can see that being basically a good example of desperation. People wanting to jump into something new. The whole rebound relationships. I don't know anybody that started seeing someone as a rebound and that ended well. I suppose it does happen, but you don't hear it that much. Those things need to take time. And yeah, you need to decompress from the brokenness of the last one before you jump into anything new. Although you can get paralyzed into doing nothing because you're staying so cautious about trying anything. So the opposite's true as well. But you're right, a lot of people do jump very quickly. Cherish says quality over quantity. That applies just about in every area of life. Hello, Snoochie. Thanks for being here. Aaron Louise says, keep at it. You're doing great. Keep sharing your story and your wisdom. Thank you. I have missed seeing you. None of the keto conferences happening. I have missed all my regular peeps from around the world. I keep having friends in Australia say, when are you coming back to Australia? I'm like, when the world isn't crazy, which I don't know when that will be. So, Bulletproof says the lessons we get are often better than the original ones. Yes. I try to keep my eyes peeled. When things don't go my way, what was I supposed to learn from this? And when things didn't go my way, it meant I didn't jump. I didn't get so desperate that I needed something that I felt like I needed to jump. And so you have to celebrate that as well. My friend Brittany says, with 3 emojis, books. Yes, lots of writing. I have been up since 2 a.m. typing away on our book together. At this rate, Brittany, we're going to have it done by next week. So, but that's okay. I'm gonna bang out what I need to from this end. You're banging out what you need to from that end. And I want it to be as perfect as it possibly can be, which, based on my previous books, is rewriting 100 times. And so that is going to be happening very shortly. Snoochie says, if you try sometimes, you get what you need. Yeah, that's right. If it's meant to be, you'll get it. That's back to that destiny thing again. I've just seen the desperation thing bite so many people in the butt so often. It breaks my heart because you can see them and how desperate they are. You can see If they just were a little more patient and let things unfold, they would get what they want. But when you try to rush it, it never ends well. Maybe you get a taste of something and you think, oh, see, it's working. And then it's like, and it crashes and burns. That's no bueno. So what are your plans after today? What do you mean after today? Today's day 93 of the Staybattical. I'm not sure what you're asking, Snoochie. I assume you mean, what are your plans after the 100 days? Is that what you're asking? Rephrase your question so I can answer you properly. Bulletproof says, I wish they'd update the old ring to measure daytime heart rate. Well, no, that's why they sold you the new ring. That was an exclusive feature on the new one, so no. And plus now they have a subscription you have to pay for in order to get access to the data. They said they needed that for keeping up with the new updates. And I will give them credit. The Oura Ring I've had for years now, it just died. They constantly updated it to add really cool things. When they first started off, it was lame-o compared to what it is now. So, no, they want you to upgrade. That's why they make the constant heart rate something for the new one. They want you to shell out some more money. That's how these companies work. And I'm a capitalist, so I don't have any problem with that. Just treat your customers well. Aaron says, hasn't been the same without touching base at the conferences. More time to focus on ourselves, though. Making the best of the time. Yeah, I'm over being in touch with myself. I'm very well in touch with myself. I need people. I went to 2 biohacking conferences this year, and it was great to be around people again. I do miss my keto people, though. And Brittany and I are talking about doing a One Step Deeper conference sometime. Hopefully 2022, later next year. That's an idea that we have now, so stay tuned. Good morning, Gustafsson. Have a wonderful day yourself as well. But yeah, guys, day 93 of my Staybattical to 50. Still going. Still rocking it, guys. 1 week from today will be the last day. Officially last day. And then I will go live one more time next Friday before I sign off and go away for 3 weeks. So I'm excited about getting away, finishing up the book, traveling. My mom got hospitalized this week. My sister texted me from the hospital. Mom's at the ER. She had major ear pain. She had a really bad cough, deep cough. So they tested her for COVID and for pneumonia, bronchitis. They couldn't find anything wrong. And so she was on the phone with me yesterday, and for 20 minutes straight, she just coughed and coughed and coughed and coughed and coughed and coughed and coughed. I'm just like, yikes. And so I probably need to go see her. She did ask if I could come, so I will probably try to sneak in a trip to see my mama and my sister. They live in Pensacola, Florida. And then, come back in the new year. Rip roaring, ready to go and do it all over again. So, as always, if you like what I do here on this walk and talk, still not sure what I'm going to call it after the Staybattical is done, but for now, we'll call it the walk and talk. Go check it out. Look up the hashtag StaybatticalTo50 all over Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Go to my website, livinlavidalowcarb.com/Staybattical, and you can see the videos there as well. But thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Go and have a great, what is this, Thursday. I am all off of my schedule because usually I have, with podcasts coming out, starting Sunday and going all the way to Thursday. I have my week in my head based on that release. So since I have no podcast right now, I am so lost on what day it is, but it's Thursday. Go enjoy your Thursday. And until next time, we'll see you then.